morning, guys. I have a very exciting story to share with you today about the Mothman. And make sure you stay to the end of the video because I have a very creepy story about a young couple who encounters this Mothman. Let's get into it. If we want to know more about the Mothman, we need to go back to late 1960. It all began on the evening of November 12, 1966. 5 men in the nearby town of Clendon were digging a grave when they reported seeing a large man-like figure above their heads from a tree that was nearby. Only a few days later, near Point Pleasant on 15 November 1966, 2 young couples told police that they had just encountered what appeared to be a very large grey creature whose eyes glow red. The creature followed their car while they were driving just outside of town. More sightings rolled in over the following year, and many locals came to believe that the Mothman resided in the outskirts of town, in an area formerly used by a government facility testing nuclear weapons. The sightings of this large red-eyed creature came to a screeching halt after the Silver Bridge incident. Silver Bridge was built in 1928 and connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, Ohio. On December 15, locals were caught up in a heavy rush hour traffic due to the upcoming holiday season. Unfortunately, the Silver Bridge engineers hadn't been very cautious when building the bridge, and the design was flawed. The bridge couldn't withstand the weight of the traffic jam and collapsed. The accident killed 46 people and 2 bodies were unable to be located. Although this was the fault of dodgy engineers, the town locals felt that this was the work of the Mothman. Sightings of this large creature have diminished significantly since the late 1960s. However, a sighting in 2016 by a man who had recently moved to Point Pleasant spotted a mysterious creature jumping from tree to tree and managed to capture images of this creature. Local reporters have asked him for an interview, to which he declined, but was adamant the photos were not doctored. Point Pleasant puts on an annual festival commemorating the Mothman, attracting locals and tourists from around the world. Alright, so now that we know a bit more about the Mothman, let's talk about the couple that was stalked by this red-eye creature. So Jeff and Crystal absolutely loved going on day trips together. They loved exploring new places and just seeing what's out there. This is when they settled on going to a place called Point Pleasant in West Virginia. Jeff and Crystal arrived at their hotel and settled in. They unpacked their bags and just made themselves at home. They then made their way across the road from their hotel to a local shop where they saw paper clippings about the Mothman, and they were quite intrigued by this. One of the articles that they read were basically saying that the Mothman, the first sighting, of the Mothman was actually in one of the local preserves there in Point Pleasant where they were staying. And of course, being the adventurous couple they were, they wanted to check it out. So what else would you do? You would make your way down to that local nature preserve to see what's going on. So that's what they did. They made their way and they got trekking. So the location of this first Mothman sighting was actually in a World War II abandoned bunker. They made their way inside the bunker and took out their phones to do some recordings because apparently the shop assistant told them that people had success with hearing voices when they played back their recordings, so of course they wanted to try it out for themselves. So Jeff started asking questions, hello, what's your name, where are you from, where'd you come from, where'd you go, where'd you come from, no. He did not ask that. He said, he asked the typical questions like hello, who's there, what's your name. This went on for a while. Crystal she started to feel rather uneasy about the whole thing. I mean, being in an abandoned bunker alone would just give me the heebie-jeebies, but nonetheless doing voice recordings and asking questions to the pitch black, expecting to hear something back. So he asked questions, they weren't getting a response. She kind of started feeling a bit uneasy and wanted to leave. As they were leaving, they supposedly heard wings flapping. Ew. So they were feeling a little spooked by what they just encountered, which is pretty obvious. I mean, I would too, I don't know about you, but yeah, I'm not going in no abandoned bunker. But anyways, they arrived back at their car, they hopped in, closed the doors, and decided to play back the recordings that they just made. To which they heard a creepy, raspy voice say, "I am here." I mean, yeah, I think my entire soul would just leave my body at that point. But anyways, so the couple are pretty keen to just ditch Point Pleasant at this stage. I mean, do you blame them? And they were pretty keen to just head on home, which was 4 hours away, no big deal. This is when things started getting super strange for Crystal. She started receiving phone calls, and when she answered the phone, it was literally silence or just a chirping noise, which was rather unsettling for her. They also started to notice in their bathroom these claw-like prints all across their wall, which was made of ash and soot. Yeah, this is when they were thinking, we should probably listen to what we recorded that day and see what's going on, because this is just not it. At some strange, peculiar hour of the morning, Jeff wakes up, sits up from his bed, and sees a strange, dark figure walking back and forth across his window. This is creepy. Not long after, they hear a noise in the kitchen, and it's the cabinets they open and glass jars just fall out. At this point, I think they're pretty fed up with everything that's been going on. They don't know what's happening. They don't have an explanation. They want an explanation. They just don't know what to look for. This is when they decide to get onto the internet and do their own research. They have a look to see what eyewitness accounts they can find in relation to the Mothman, and they decide to go back to the bunker. So, they've gone back to the bunker. They're walking towards the bunker. Crystal is petrified. She does not want to go in. She's not having it. She's like, nah, I'm not going in. Jeff then has to go in by himself. He approaches the bunker, walks into the bunker, and starts asking questions, demanding, what's going on? What do you want? Leave us alone. This is when he gets risen into the air and thrown across the room onto the wall. He yells, "Get out, run, Crystal, run, run!" They leave the bunker, get into his car, and head home. 4-hour drive back to Maryland. So this event takes place the following night. Crystal is waiting for Jeff to get home from work. She decides she's gonna have a shower. She hops in the shower and she's like, I'm gonna, she's like washing her hair, and then she sees like a handprint on the curtain of the shower, and she's like, "Oh, Jeff, stop it. I'm just showering. Just stop it. Wait. I'm just, So she opens the curtain to be like, "Jeff, can you just stop? I'm trying to shower." And Jeff's not there. He's not there. She's like, what's just happened? So she gets out and she can see another one of those claw-like handprints on the mirror. So Jeff has a fun experience of his own. He is driving home one night after a long day of work. He's on the highway and he sees a winged figure come from the sky and land on the road directly in front of him. He stops. He puts his brakes on. He tries to stop his car. Comes to a halt. Then this creature rushes him. He is charging his car, jumps on his bonnet, onto his roof, and takes flight into the night sky. So the last straw for them was the fact that, Crystal was still receiving these annoying phone calls from this person who just wouldn't talk when she answers the phone. It was literally still silence and still those chirping noises. This was just so frustrating for her, and they also began to see this like weird goop seeping from the walls all around their house. They decided to just move out. They left their house behind and they didn't go back. And that is the end of the story. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. This was super fun for me to tell you guys this story, and I will be posting many more of these stories. So if you enjoyed it, please make sure to like and subscribe and leave your video suggestions down below of things you want me to film for you, because I'm more than happy to do that. So until next time, bye bye.